Chapter 6 Tracepath. Light cut the vault in slivers. The main door hung half ajar, angled just enough to let morning in. It caught dust in the air, dragged lines of warmth across stone. Time moved in the way shadows stretch. Beric tightened a buckle. His cloak hung beside the slab, folded clean. No sound but the faint rasp of leather straps and the grind of flint as he checked the spark wire. He tested the weight of the dagger in his boot, then the one at his ribs. Still there. Still his. The fresh bandage stayed under his tunic from the night before. He didn't rewrap it, no need. He moved slow, methodical, hands brushing across salvage flask, vial, coil. Each item touched once, confirmed, then left. He didn't look up until the light reached the arch. Fenric stood bare-chested near the old cook pit. He'd stripped down to rewrap his waist gear, hands moving in practiced rhythm. Bandolier buckled tight, crossbow inspected, string waxed and restrung with a fresh twist. He tested the tension with one hand and set it aside. Two blades followed, both short, one curved inspected and sheathed under the folds of his outer tunic. He pulled on a reinforced wrap across his shoulders, fastened with repurposed cord from the broken sled frame. He paused once, staring at the locket Beric had tossed him days earlier. It lay open beside a folded cloth. He didn't touch it, just looked. Then he swept it and the gear into his pack and walked toward the main chamber. Rena stood in silence beneath the inner arch, bathed in faint ambient light. The residual glyphs along the stone glowed weak gold, not from her touch, but proximity. She moved with mechanical quiet. Her clothing had been resecured, not for modesty, but function. A new seam, stitched by hand, ran down her sleeve, where one of the old grafts had split. She checked nothing, no blade, no pouch. Her weapon was herself. One hand rose, not urgent, not even deliberate. It hovered a breath's width from the glyphs and pulled back. The tether reacted anyway. Soft arcs curled along her wrist. The moment passed. She turned, already aware the others were behind her. They met in the central chamber. No one spoke right away. Beric adjusted the shoulder strap on his cloak. Fenric kept one hand on the crossbow's sling. Rena moved to the center, not hesitating, just arriving. Her glow sharpened. Then, her voice, the cold one. Route plotted, 8 miles northeast. Estimated travel, 6 hours at current pace, with minor variation based on terrain. Navigation will adjust dynamically. Beric gave a single nod. Show us. She turned slightly, palm raised. A glyph flared. A ribbon of light curled into the air between them, forming a faint topographical shaped dunes, ridgelines, the vault behind them, a collapsed canyon beyond, one point marked with a vertical pulse. Fenric stepped closer. That the echo? Residual structure, Rena confirmed. Likely vault fragment. Unstable, but linked. Beric studied the projection. Entry from the west? Confirmed. Path of least resistance is across the basin. Natural coverage minimal. Hostile probability moderate. Fenric's lips tightened. And we're just leaving this place open? Beric met his eyes. It's not marked. It's not glowing. They didn't find it before. They'll look harder now. Beric didn't argue. We're not leaving it forever. Fenric glanced toward the corridor they'd all come to rely on, the way its turns muffled wind, the way the stone bent light. Then he nodded once, quiet. Rena's eyes flickered. Threshold protections are active. Structural imprint will mask re-entry point for approximately 4 days. After that, exposure risk escalates. Beric didn't look at her. We'll be back before then. She tilted her head. Estimate acknowledged. A pause. Then Beric stepped forward, breaking the shape of the projection with his shoulder. We move now. He didn't wait for agreement. Fenric pulled the crossbow to ready position. Rena followed, silent, already adapting. The light behind them held steady, tracing long against the vault floor, the last warmth before the desert swallowed. They left without sealing the door. Sand shifted under boot and tread. They moved in a staggered line, vault shrinking behind them into the haze. Light broke across the dunes in hard bands. No wind yet, just heat rising sharp and early. Fenric walked a half-step behind Beric, crossbow slung loose but ready. He scanned often, not disciplined sweeps, just habit. A constant twitch of the neck, eyes darting toward ridge breaks and dune edges. His voice came low. Still don't like it. 6 hours of open march. Too long without cover. Too quiet. Too exposed. Barrick didn't break stride. We're not the ones exposed. Fenric snorted. You're always this cheerful? I've dealt with worse. More than once. Ahead, Rena walked point. Not leading, just walking. Her pace never changed. Her feet never slipped. Her body moved like the terrain bent to her presence. The gold glow along her spine pulsed with each step, visible through the thin weave of her tunic. Fenric lowered his voice again. She doesn't even breathe hard. You ever seen something move like that? Barrick shrugged. She's tethered. Her limits aren't the same anymore. Yeah, Fenric muttered. That's what worries me. Silence returned. The desert didn't offer sound. No insects, no birds. Just the crunch of boots on grit, the rustle of cloth, and the soft tick of shifting sand. They passed a sun-bleached ribcage half buried in the slope camel, maybe. No one stopped. After a while, Fenric broke the quiet again. You really think we're ready? If it's another Codex night out there, or something worse. Barrick cut in. We've prepped for worse. Fenric didn't argue, but his shoulders stayed tight. He shifted his pack once, checking the cinch strap, then ran his fingers along the bolts clipped to his side. Rena spoke without turning. Likelihood of enemy presence within next radius segment, 21%, adjusted for prior encounter metrics. Fenric blinked. You just calculate that? Affirmative. Guess I'll stop thinking then. No objection. Barrick kept walking. The heat pulled sweat along his spine, but the rhythm of movement dulled it. His ribs ached, not sharp, just present. A reminder. They walked in silence. Another hour. Then Rena stopped. Her arm lifted halfway, palm flat toward the east. Structural anomaly, 40 meters, partial submersion. Barrick stepped forward, following her gaze. A single pillar broke the dune ahead, black stone, flat-edged, weather-worn, but still vertical. No markings visible at distance. No base. Just stone jutting up like a broken tooth. Natural? Fenric asked. No, Barrick said. They veered without another word. The sand grew softer near the pillar, footing unstable. Barrick took lead now, angling slightly to circle before closing. The sun caught the stone edge as they neared smooth on one face, jagged on the others. No inscriptions, just mass. Unyielding, wrong. Rena approached last. She crouched low, pressed one hand to the base. Her glow surged faint, amber, then blue, then gone. Residuals? Barrick asked. Minimal, she said. Old contact point, not active. Fenric moved to the side, kicked at the base with his boot. Why is it still standing? No erosion at foundation, she said. No base plate shift. Material unknown. Barrick watched her for a moment, then turned his gaze back across the basin. Nothing else. Just the one. He said nothing more. He stepped around the pillar once, eyes on the sand. No prints, no markers, just the wind starting to whisper at the edge of the rise. Back on track, he said. They turned, left the stone behind. The wind followed. They moved in a line, not tight, not spread, measured. Barrick led, eyes sweeping the horizon, cloak snapping low behind him. Rena followed 2 paces back, her gait steady, arms slack at her sides. Fenric trailed close, crossbow shouldered, eyes flicking between every rise in the terrain. The basin widened. Dunes rolled flat where the storm had scoured the upper layers away. Nothing moved. The sky pressed low, not clouded, just pale. Featureless. Fenric adjusted his grip on the sling. You ever get the feeling there's more eyes out here than there should be? Barrick didn't look back. Always. I'm serious. Something about this stretch. Could be the quiet, but I don't like it. You don't have to like it. Fenric blew a breath out his nose. Yeah, but... He scanned the ridge to their right. Could be bandits. Could be Codex hunters. Could be more scouts from the caravan. The ones with the stone-colored armor. They're watching something else, Barrick said, or circling. Either way, they're not here. And if they show? Barrick tapped his hip. The dagger there hadn't moved. Then they die. Fenric shook his head, not with disagreement, with unease. We're too exposed. Barrick's pace didn't slow. We're also too fast to follow, and too far from anything worth ambushing. They fell quiet again. Footsteps, wind. Sand shifted under their steps, brittle in some places, soft in others. Small flecks of debris dotted the path, old caravan fragments dragged by the storm. Barrick stepped over a broken harness buckle. Rena didn't glance at it. Fenric tried again. So, we're just marching in silence? I'm not marching, Rena said. Her voice was flat. Not tired. Not anything. My movement is optimized for energy retention. Your pace is inefficient. Fenric grunted. Right. Thanks for that. She didn't respond. They walked another mile before he spoke again. Hey, what's the chance there's still a signal tether on us? Something left from the orb? Rena answered without turning. Signal disruption occurred at time of integration. No active transmission remains. Passive trace probability, 3.9%. Low then. Correct. You could have said that first. No. Barrick smirked once without turning. Fenric saw it, didn't mention it. The land shifted near the 5th mile. Sand smoothed out, hard-packed from wind pressure. The footprints they left turned shallow. More stone, less give. The basin narrowed slightly, cutting into a slope. That's when Rena stopped. Artifact, she said. One hand raised, fingers tracking north by east. Surface breach. Artificial structure, stone composition, 300 meters. Barrick followed her gaze. Nothing obvious then, he saw it. A single line, sharp against the soft curve of the nearest dune. Just the top edge of a pillar, barely taller than a man. Another one. Alone. Fenric slowed to a stop beside them. Just one again? Correct. No supporting structures, no pattern. Likely erosion, exposure. Barrick adjusted the strap at his ribs. We divert. 10 minutes. No argument. They turned northeast. The sand deepened again. Each step angled up, boots carving short trenches in the incline. Wind caught grit and spun it low along the surface. The pillar came into full view only after the last ridge broke. Black stone. Seamless. No markings. It rose at a perfect vertical, untouched by erosion or tilt. No signs of a base. Just buried. Barrick approached first. He ran a hand near it, not touching, just close. Heat clung to it. Not sun warmth. Internal. Fenric stepped up beside him. Looks old. Looks intact, Barrick said. Rena moved last. She crouched at the base, her fingers hovering inches above the sand. Glyphlight curled along her knuckles, flaring faint when she neared the pillar. She didn't speak. Barrick crouched low beside her. Same signature? Rena nodded once. Linked. To the vault? No, she said. Older. Fenric turned in a slow circle, scanning the dunes. If there's more of these, I bet they're buried deep. Barrick tapped the pillar. It didn't give. Mark it. We move. Rena raised a hand. A thin arc of light traced the pillar's edge, disappearing into the sand. A second line marked the direction back to their original route, a glowing thread only she could follow. Then they turned again, back toward the path. Quiet. The wind dragged behind them, faint but steady. No one spoke. The pillar stayed behind motionless, watching. Sand flattened beneath their steps. The sun climbed higher, but the wind held. Light off the dunes came harsh, white, clean. Ahead, the land rose slow, tapering into ridge stone that broke the horizon like buried bone. Fenric walked with his head slightly turned, eyeing Barrick without making it obvious. Rena stayed to the right, slightly ahead now, her body angled like a compass needle. Fenric kicked at a dry clump of grit. So the Codex, that's what they called themselves? Rena replied without hesitation. Codex Operative Network. Originally decentralized. Formed post-collapse to preserve arcane artifacts, enforce system order, and suppress emergent threats. Collapse of what? Fenric asked. Unconfirmed. Source files fragmented. Terminology suggests a cultural or structural fracturing. Scale unknown. Barrick said nothing. Fenric let the silence stretch before pressing again. So they were like a magical secret police? Incorrect. Their structure was not hierarchical, more cell-based, autonomous. Their primary function was containment. Of what? Dangerous ideas. Barrick's pace didn't change. Fenric frowned. Ideas? Not monsters or artifacts. Wonder why they attacked the caravan. They believed ideas were more dangerous than objects. And the orb? The map? That came from them? Possibly, Rena said. Tethered constructs show Codex-style architecture, but the material compound does not match any recovered Codex alloy. It may be derivative. Fenric looked at Barrick again. And you just knew how to use it, like it was second nature. Barrick didn't look at him. They kept walking. Fenric's voice dipped. Was it second nature? The only sound was their footfalls, sand over stone, wind against cloth. They walked 30 more paces. Barrick said, "Look ahead." Fenric squinted. The stone shifted on the horizon. A rise. A structure half buried, sloped like a broken tooth jutting from the dune. Faint lines etched the visible wall, most lost to time or sand. Light bounced wrong off its surface, too smooth in places, too fractured in others. Rena spoke. Target structure identified. Distance, 700 meters. Glyph trace confirmed. Barrick kept walking.